Coming up on TekThing, Amazon Tap, Dot, and Roll, BitTorrent Sync keeps getting better, avoid early USB cable death syndrome, and more. All coming up on TekThing. If you get something useful out of this episode of TekThing, please consider contributing to the show at patreon.com/TekThing. We're brought to you by viewers just like you. Thank you so much.
I'm Shannon Morse.
And I'm Patrick Norton.
And this is TekThing, where we make technology behave.
At least on the good days.
All of it.
Actually, we always make technology behave. Even if we have to grind it into small bits before having it properly recycled. Because recycling is crucial for a better America.
That's right, it is.
Got a question for everybody. What CPU, memory, and GPU are you using? How old is your system? I'm working on a $500 PC build. Wondering what folks are using, what they're looking to upgrade to. Contemplating some hot Hackintosh action.
What?
I'm not sure that'll actually fit into a $500 budget. We'll find out.
know.
You know, I'm missing OS 10 in my life. I'm going to say that.
Oh.
It's okay. I get to use it on my wife's computer. It's also been interesting to find out some of the most technically advanced programmers I know are using 5 to 8 year old CPUs, though in many cases they've either added more memory or they're on their third GPU in some cases. That contrasts hugely with the video editors I know, or a lot of people that work in like CAD/CAM, who are using the latest thing they can afford and update as regularly as they can. In any case, we are curious. Email ask@tekthing.com when you get a chance and put my system in the subject line. That seems simple enough. My system.
My system.
Please,
there you go.
Please.
I'm intrigued.
I'm intrigued too. I'm curious. It was interesting to realize that like half this group of programmers I know are like on the latest thing, and the other half are like, yeah, I've been using this system since 2009, since you know,
budgetary concerns.
It just had no particular need to upgrade.
Yeah.
Or when they finally upgraded, like, oh, video runs better. I can run the 1080p off of YouTube now without it stuttering. And it's like, huh.
Good point.
The other stuff you do, you didn't notice. It's interesting. In any case, let us move on to Shannon. That's her. Her obsession. Her obsession with Amazon's Echo has been temporarily sated because she got the Dot and the Tap. We'll either replace your Echo. Are both of them going to be returned?
Maybe?
Let's hear the review.
Okay, cool. So I'll first start it off with the Amazon Dot. It's $89.99. It looks like this. It looks like a little hockey puck, which seems to be the thing. Yeah, it's a dot. And the cool thing about this is that it works just like the original Echo. It's just more compact, of course, and it has a not so snazzy speaker. Obviously, it's not as tall. It doesn't have as much speaker in it, so it's a little bit tinny. The bass is very quiet on this. It's definitely not as good as its older sister, but it works really well when it comes to Echo voice compatibility. Yeah!
Alexa, what temperature is it outside?
Currently, in Pinoli it's 75 degrees with clear skies and sun. You can expect more of the same today, with a high of 77 and a low of 54.
There you go.
So same account.
Yep, same account,
functions.
same setup, really easy to set up. You can do everything from the same app, so you can connect several of these different technologies from the same Alexa app.
So,
oops, sorry, I said it again. Cancel. Okay, good, it canceled. So yeah, everything's very easy to set up, and also since the speaker isn't that great in here, if you want to, you can connect it via Bluetooth to, or with an audio cable to an external speaker for better sound quality. So if you tend to use this with music, yes, there is the micro USB. You do have to have this charging forever. It doesn't have a built-in battery or anything like that, but you can also use the built-in right there, aux cable. So you can plug this into a speaker or use Bluetooth and just plug it in, and there you go. You have a nice speaker. So this, I also want to mention, this is not like Sonos. You can't sync multiple Echo devices like this one and your original Echo together and play music across several rooms simultaneously. Echo has stated on Twitter to some users that have asked about this that it's something they're looking into, but there's no actual specifications that this is going to happen ever. So this thing is $90. It's really cool, and it works just like the original, just a not so great speaker.
So it's about half the price of the original.
Yeah, just about. Yeah, and currently you can only order it through voice order, available exclusively through the original Echo. I'm going to try to say Echo instead of the A word, so nobody's goes off. But yeah, it works really well. So I like that one. The second one is the Echo Tap. So that's the one that Patrick's holding.
Might be why they don't want to upgrade the speaker stuff on the
It's
Tap.
entirely possible.
Oh, excuse me, the
yeah,
Dot. Sorry,
the
this
Dot.
is the Tap.
So if I go over to my computer, this is the Amazon Tap. The first one is called the Dot right here. It looks just like the original except squished down. The Amazon Tap is the second one. So this one is $129.99. It's more expensive than the Dot, but it's also basically a Bluetooth traveling speaker. So you can take it with you. It's totally portable, and it has Echo voice recognition built into it, but you have to tap a button to make that actually work. There you go. So whenever you tap the button, you just ask it a question. You don't have to start it with the A word for it to work.
Please buy me all the things.
So it might get confused since I was talking over it. But I'll press it again.
Buy all the things.
What would you like to order?
Everything. That's a nice speaker.
I didn't find that in your past orders, so I've added everything to your shopping list.
So it works, but you do have to tap the button every single time you want to use it, and because of that, it's not as convenient as the other ones, but in a sense it is more convenient because you can take it with you and it's battery powered. The battery works for about 9 hours. It does have Bluetooth in here, and it does have Wi-Fi. Now if you want to use any of the voice recognition technology in here, you have to have some kind of Wi-Fi or mobile hotspot capability. So if you plan to take this to a park with you, you have to make sure that you can use your phone as a Wi-Fi hotspot, or you have a hotspot with you. If you don't have one, you're not going to be able to use it with the voice recognition. You'll just have to be able to use it as a speaker.
So
instead.
great inside the house, a little less exciting, probably not particularly useful as a travel speaker if you don't have Wi-Fi. Well, could you Bluetooth connect to it and send audio to it that way?
You can Bluetooth connect to it, and you can play music all day and all night just like any other Bluetooth speaker, but you can't use it for searching stuff. So if you want to look up the weather and things like that, you still need Wi-Fi capabilities. And if you want to buy stuff off of Amazon, you still need the Wi-Fi capability. Now in here, the speaker is 360 degree, it's dual stereo Dolby speakers, and they give out really crisp music sound and crisp audio whenever you're listening to speech, but it seriously lacks in the bass category. When I compared this to a couple of speakers that I own at home, I own the original JBL Pulse and the UE Boom. Now both of those, they cost around the $199 mark, so they are more expensive than this at $130, but both of them kick the Tap's butt when it comes to sound quality, and you can get them both for about the same price now too. So you can get better speaker quality now for the same exact price, but they don't have the voice technology.
Okay, so basically you trade off mediocre music performance or okay music performance if you don't mind, not being able to shake it, your groove thing.
Now, exactly. Both of those don't have voice for service. It lasts for about 9 hours on battery. It does come with a charging dock, and this is what you can see it's sitting on. The dock is really cool. It's nice that it just sits on here, and you don't have to worry about plugging it in all the time and wearing out a charger. So that's very nice. And then when it charges, though, it does not have always-on voice capability. So even when it's charging, I still have to press that button on the front of it for it to actually do anything. So convenience at home is not as good as the Dot. And the Dot is cheaper. So in that sense, I would say if you just want to use it at home, buy this one. If you want to go portable and you don't necessarily care about the speakers, buy this one because it does have that voice technology. So am I going to keep them? I think what I'm going to do is keep the Dot to give another room in my house the Echo voice controls, and then I'm going to return the little Tap because one, I already have some fabulous Bluetooth speakers at my house, if I can say so myself.
That's fabulous.
And number two, if I'm already unlocking my phone to connect to a speaker, I might as well just look up the weather while I'm there.
Or order on Amazon or whatever else you're doing.
Because I'm already connecting to a Bluetooth speaker. It's going to take me just as long.
So are they worth the price? I mean,
Yes.
$130 and $90?
Yes and yes. This one's a great deal.
Okay.
I mean, $90 for that, that's awesome.
The center of
That's
your
a great
future
deal.
home automation voice control system.
Like I would expect to have to use a coupon to get that. That for $90. So one on the Tap, my personal opinion on the sound quality is nitpicky because there are better speakers out there for the same price, but the voice capabilities on it, they aren't available with other Bluetooth speakers. It's really cool. It's extremely useful. You just got to watch your phone's battery. because you're going to be using like a Wi-Fi hotspot on your phone if you choose to do it that way, or use a separate hotspot, which you would need for voice. Otherwise, it would last for 9 hours. Your speaker would. Now, if you do want a portable Alexa, oops, sorry. If you do want a portable Echo and you don't care if you have the best Bluetooth speaker, then go for it. And then on the dot, it's pretty much a done deal for me. While the sound quality is not as good as the original Echo, the music isn't why I use it. And if I do, I'm just going to connect it to an external speaker and then I'm good to go. So yes and yes, I would recommend both of them. So, even though I'm returning this, but that's only my own personal opinion.
Well, you already have, like you said, a bunch of Bluetooth speakers.
Yeah,
You're
so
going to have 2 Echo devices in your house.
Yeah.
He says, avoiding the A word, which is not the word my mother prefers I do not use in public.
It's hard to not say it while doing a review.
So thumbs up, but you're only keeping one of them.
Yes, thumbs up on both, but for my own budgetary concerns and because I don't need it necessarily, I'm going to return one.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. By the way, if you haven't seen it, check out If This Then That.
Yes,
has
amazing.
put together an incredible collection of things you can control using the...
We'll put that link down below
voice
on the show
services.
notes on YouTube and at TekThing.com.
We were getting our cable management on yesterday, dealing with Wii screws deep in the bowels of a PC, and the subject of magnetizing screwdrivers came up, because it's so much easier to get screws into tight corners when they stick to the end of a magnetized driver. So, the question is, how do you magnetize a tool? Not a method. Well, let me have that screwdriver, right?
Oh,
And
I'll put these down so I don't
yeah.
drop them on my computer.
we have all the magnets right now. So this is your basic, ridiculous, magnet section of the hardware store, 50-pound magnet.
Jeez.
Yeah, here, hold that. Don't get too
Thanks.
close. And in theory, right, this is not a method I've used, but you can get a powerful magnet. Probably a one-sided neodymium magnet would work better than this.
Okay.
And you stick the magnet on the end of the screwdriver, and you wait 15 or 20 minutes, or 3 or 4 days, and the tool
Whoa.
will be magnetized.
Okay.
Yeah, this doesn't...
That seems like it would take a while.
Yeah, it's not my favorite. It's not something I would normally do.
What if I don't have time?
The one I use the most is to get a powerful magnet, like the one from a hard drive, or one of the bigger ones from the neodymium magnet section of the hardware store.
Oh, yeah.
And this is actually, I pulled this off of Darren's tool chest. It was there was a hacksaw hanging off the side of the tool chest. If you have to do not attempt to attach this to a wooden door.
No.
If it takes some effort to remove a magnet, it's probably more than strong enough. And you basically
Oh,
drag
so
it
it's like
along.
sharpening a knife.
Yeah, and you take it off the magnetic mat.
It works!
It works! You basically slowly drag it from the handle to the tip until it picks up screws.
Okay.
Now what I wonder is if I do it the other way, will it demagnetize it? And the answer is probably no. Okay,
Still
so
magnetized.
the way most people do it, or the official way of doing it, if you're not going to get crazy with using a 12-volt battery to create your own electromagnet, is to use one of these critters, a tool magnetizer, demagnetizer. These are all basically, except for this
They're
giant
so
one with the
cute.
capacitor, yeah. These are all basically the same thing with varying degrees of
Some
quality.
of those look like Legos.
Some of them pretty much are Legos. But this is basically, what they are, right? You go like this a few times. It's a little weird to do this. It's like sharpening a knife, but without the sharpening, right? I can pick up.
But it works?
You can almost see the little tiny screw on there. Yeah, and then if you want to demagnetize something, because sometimes if you're trying to reach into there and the screwdriver's going around, you basically just need to go like that.
Oh, wow.
And my magnetism is gone.
Oh my gosh, it's like magnet magic.
It's like magnet magic.
It's magnet magic.
But it's not picking up the big screw. And that's what always, I know these screws are magnetic, right? Because it's sticking to the big magnet. Some screws
It must not be magnetized very well because that one's barely holding it.
This is like a
that's a
10-pound magnet,
strong
right?
magnet.
This is a magnet that you don't want your kids playing on the refrigerator with. But I think this may be the particular blend of steel on this screwdriver may make it not particularly magnetic. But for the vast majority of screws you're going to find in your PC, you are good to go.
That's
Takes
cool.
seconds. In theory, if you have tiny bits, like these over here, you can stick them on the end of your driver and you sort of do it through the magnetizing section here, and it'll work.
Cool.
It's not as, because in
not
this
as
case,
strong.
well, this is an aluminum driver with just this little tiny bit. There's not a lot of metal to magnetize here,
Yeah.
so. And, trying to do this, this is where the magnetizing tools come in really, well, you laugh, right? But, trying to drag a bit on a 10-pound magnet
That's hilarious.
is difficult. And ladies and gentlemen, ta-da. That's pretty much all I have to do to magnetize screwdrivers or to demagnetize them. These things sell hardware stores, you know, big box stores. It doesn't really matter what brand it is. I mean, the Weehaw ones are probably...
Are they pretty cheap?
They're pretty cheap. I've seen them $3, $6.
Shoot.
Yeah, I mean...
I can afford that.
Anybody can afford that. In fact, even though you can't afford that, this one's for you.
Really?
I have 2 more of them at home.
Yeah!
And I can always steal the magnet off of Darren's
You mean I don't
cabinet.
have to skip my Starbucks drink today?
You don't have to skip your Starbucks drink today. That's actually...
Thank you.
I don't know if that costs more or less than your Starbucks drink. She has a Frappuccino habit.
Probably less.
Nasty Frappuccino habits.
It's true.
Do not get between Snubs and her Frappuccino.
Well, thank you for showing us this recommendation.
You're
Very
welcome.
handy.
Well, I also, and we were talking about it yesterday because we had these little tiny screws that had to go way deep down in the case, and it's so much easier if they're on the end of the screwdriver. Which is also, as you noticed yesterday, is why I have the gigantic screwdriver in my toolbox.
Let us know
deep
about your
pieces.
hardware. We want to know what you use to demagnetize and magnetize your tools, your tool set.
Do you not believe in magnetizing tools? Do you have a better idea? Somewhere out there, one of you has a 10,000 Gauss electromagnet of doom. Do us a favor. Tweet at us at TekThing, at Patrick Norton,
At Snubs.
or email ask@tekthing.com. If you like the show, if you're getting something useful out of the show, do us a favor, consider contributing to the show's survival at patreon.com/TekThing. People like you make it happen. Contribute just a little bit per show, $1 here, a quarter there. At the $10 rate, you actually get to hang out with us for an extended hangout each and every month. But patreon.com/TekThing is the place to go to keep the show happening. Just a little bit from each and every one of you, and we will have an amazing show for you each and every week. Thank you so much, especially to the people that are already contributing. And hey, if you don't have the money, we get it. That's okay. Do us a favor. Give us the thumbs up on YouTube, on our Facebook page. Write us a review on the iTunes store, whatever your favorite podcatcher is. And please keep sending us your questions, your ideas, and your tips, and we will keep sharing them with the people out there. Thank you so much for being a part of TekThing, no matter how you do it. When most folks think BitTorrent, they think smuggling. They think Han Solo. They think, oh, the Blu-ray's going to be here today.
Yes!
Yes!
Ow.
I'm a little excited about that, sorry. In any case, when most folks think about BitTorrent, they think about grabbing TV shows and movies off the internet. But for years, BitTorrent's been making something called Sync, which combines the BitTorrent communications protocol, i.e. the stuff that makes it so cool, with a simple interface that allows you to derp sync files from different PCs, like Mac, Windows, Linux, or basically between all the things, right? Between if it's a Mac, Windows, or Linux PC, mobile devices, Android, iOS, servers, NAS boxes, Raspberry Pis. Well, if you kind of got to roll your own with a Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
But we'll talk Linux in a second. What makes Sync so interesting is that it's pretty fast. In fact, it finds the shortest path between devices. So if you're syncing, say, your laptop and a NAS device in your house, your laptop and your desktop, it'll stay over the house network. It's not going to go out to the internet and back. It'll do incremental backups, do secure links for sharing. You can encrypt folders now. So if you're storing on a third-party server, your data is not only encrypted en route, but at the destination.
Ooh.
So if you go to the getsync.com web page, right, it literally is available. Web page? What did I say?
Which page?
Which page? Well, yeah, so what's funny, like, well, again, we'll talk about Linux in a second, but, FreeBSD, Linux, Windows, Mac, Android, iOS.
Mobile devices.
Yeah, other
Very
devices. Cool. Yeah, well, it gets really cool when you start putting it on a NAS box, and then you can, what you're essentially doing, right? So
nice.
Yeah, they have all the support. So what you're essentially doing is creating your own private Dropbox-like service or Box.com like service.
I like it.
If you spend $40 a year for Sync Pro, you get some additional features. The big one is that you can actually
no file size limits. That's nice.
Yeah, well, you can do some pretty huge files as it is. You get advanced folders for collaboration. You can change or revoke access permissions anytime. Selective sync, which means you can grab individual files, not just the entire folder. Sync's very folder obsessed, but with selective sync, you can be like, I need that individual file. Pro also lets you link all your devices under a common certificate, which means auto sync across linked devices. So you just drop a folder and it goes to, you drop, like, I drop a new song into my folder and it's automatically synced across all the devices. No passing keys or approvals.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, yeah, depending on how you look at it, passing keys, so when you open up the sync folder or the sync application, it looks like this, right? And this is...
Oh wow, it's so much cleaner now.
Yeah, they've done a lot of really nice work. But if
So whenever you do the keys back and forth, basically to like validate that your PC is allowed to receive or send those transmissions,
right.
Do you send that key via unencrypted or an encrypted?
Well, if I was dealing with, say,
Data
Robert
transmission.
Heron, who, by the way, will be on the show next week if you have an HCTV question, I would cut and paste the key and I would send it to him over Signal because he's obsessed with
that's
encrypted
encrypted.
communications. Yeah. Normally, you would just send him an email link. So, like, I might do...
But if you PGP encrypt your key, then it would be fine.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not too obsessed with somebody, like, if I'm sharing a folder with somebody, like, here's the video for you to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, all you got to do is, like, hit the share link and you can give them, read only, read and write permissions.
Cool.
The link can expire in, like, 1 day. You can set it up so the link can be used one time. So in case somebody is reading your email, it's going to make it a little more difficult.
Yeah.
You can send a QR code. You can send, like, the keys look like this. If you're kind of curious, this is what a key looks like. So you can give them read and write permissions or read-only permissions.
Would you prefer I blur that for you, sir?
I'm not too worried about it, but it's probably a good idea.
Okay.
Because people do strange and wondrous things when they get bored on the internet. I'm just saying. Something that's pretty cool that they added this year, first up, is native Linux packages for sync.
Yay!
So you can use Yum or apt-get, i.e. Debian or RPM-based packages. Because you notice like there were Linux downloads there.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, no. apt-get or death. And Sync 2.3 arrived, which adds a bunch of new features. Android users can now move data to SD cards, not just the main system memory. Linux users get selective sync, that ability to grab individual files. Windows users, and this is awesome, you can now run Sync as a service on Windows. Ooh. In other words, Sync will run in the background even if the user is not logged in. So,
that's awesome.
Hey, the machine it's installed on can behave like a 24-hour server even if nobody is around to log into the system to launch the amp and start syncing. This is cool. I'm using it to sync media and other files from home to the office. I'm trying to see if I can get mostly my bigger files permanently off of Dropbox, or any of the other services. And I'm not particularly worried about having a web presence for my tunes.
So it's not necessarily a cloud,
right?
But it's syncing across multiple physical devices that you own.
Yeah, like all the things that have sync, you can share all the fired up folders that you choose to sync within.
There's
sync.
just no man in the middle with this.
There's
no Dropbox.
Right. If you want a cloud, on a hosted third-party server, you're going to have to make it yourself. You're going to have to put it there, and you can now encrypt that data if you do want to say use sync to a third-party source. So yeah, I mean, over the local network, I was moving files at about 30 megabytes per second, which is pretty good. A friend of mine with a fairly fast internet connection, I think he's got like 100 megabytes up or 100 megabits up. 100 megabits up.
Okay.
He shared like a 330 gigabyte file in about 4 hours to a director who needed to look at his final edit over regular cable. It's not always, stupid fast, and the upload.
But it's going to depend a lot on what your ISP is giving you.
If you have fiber and the ridiculously fast upload speeds, it's going to go faster than if you have cable and like 5 megabits per second up.
Yeah.
So this isn't quite a 3-2-1 backup answer if you're not paying attention. It's not. It's if you want. I've used Crash Plan and I've selected my files and they will be automatically backed up and they will be super incremental. For example, you can only get incremental backups for like 30 days. So be careful about deleting the contents of synced folders. Use user permissions wisely if you're in a small business.
If you do delete your synced folder, BitTorrent Sync is going to assume that you don't want those files synced anymore, and it's just going to delete them from everywhere.
My understanding is like it'll keep like changes for 30 days if you have it set up that way, and then they will be gone. So it's not like one of those online services where they're like, we keep your revisions forever.
So I'm assuming that the Linux setup is painless now that they've done the update.
If you're a Linux user,
that's awesome.
Sudo apt-get bink.
Would you use BitTorrent Sync as a media server?
Not so much, but you would use it. In my case, what I'm doing is I'm using it to sync like the music on my work machine and my laptop and then a NAS box.
Okay.
And then that folder on the NAS box that's being synced by Sync, I can then share that folder using whatever media server I want to use.
And since since you're syncing across your devices, not a cloud service, you have to make sure you have that storage available, right, on each computer.
Yeah, there's no, if you try to copy a terabyte of files onto a machine that only has a half
Not going to work so well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you laugh, right? But at one point, I was playing around with using it to sync media on my phone. Oh. Yeah.
It's not going to end so well.
I have a lot of audio files, more than can fit even on a 128 gigabyte iPhone. So.
Oh man, well I'm happy that they've done so many updates. I'm excited to check it out. I haven't checked out BitTorrent Sync in years.
Yeah, if you haven't checked it out, it's final. It's encrypted, between clients. You can encrypt an end folder. I believe they have addressed all the security issues that were raised back in 2014.
Great.
It's looking really cool. It's something to consider if you want to keep things synced.
Let us know your thoughts. You can email us, ask@tekthing.com. We got an email from Tom who wrote in about USB cable hell. He wrote, ask@tekthing.com. I have several USB devices with family of 7 that uses micro USB to charge. The cables are breaking faster than I can replace them. I have not broke a cord in over 2 years, but everyone else is doing it weekly to monthly. And I see who's blaming here. Do you recommend a type or company USB to micro that can stand up to the kids? Yes, I do tell my kids not to use those cables for jump ropes and scaling a mountain. Also, do you know if a shorter USB cable will charge faster than a long one? For example, 6 inches, 3 foot, 6, and 10. Lost and broken wires, from Tom. Oh.
Well, this is a great question.
That is a good question.
First up, sadly, a shorter cable will not charge faster than a longer cable, but some devices will charge faster if you have the right power supply for them. Case in point, fast charge on your Samsung phone.
Right. Yeah.
Which gives an accelerated charge. Making sure you actually have a fast charger, or a charger that will deliver all of the amperage that your device will use. I don't have any devices that use Samsung fast charger, but I use a multi-port Anker family-size charger, and they have this thing they call Power IQ, which this is the super marketing stuff, but essentially, what they're saying is like, oh, if you have a 500 milliamp laptop part, it's going to take 5 hours to charge this iPhone 5S, but we'll do it in 2 hours and 45 minutes, right?
Oh.
And this is just about, use this generic Android charger and it's going to take 10 hours, but use, the Power IQ and you'll do 4 hours and 33 minutes. And the point there is that by delivering like 2 to 4 amps across all of these ports, I should probably, make sure I'm on the right charging device. But essentially, they'll do like 5-port, 6-port chargers that allow you to connect all the devices. They also use Power IQ in their battery, their portable chargers.
Yeah.
But the idea is that Power IQ is going to give your device all the amperage it will suck down. Using Anker's chargers and batteries, and then having a battery issue led me to realize A, their tech support's really good, and B, I ended up buying a round of first micro USB and then lightning cables from them, all of which are still running except for one that I modified to fit into a case during testing. I should have shrink wrapped it after I was done modifying it. I am constantly using those cables. They'll be the battery pack, the cable, my phone stuffed into the back, the sort of slash pocket on the back of my backpack. She's seen it. It'll be like cable hanging out. This is a worst case scenario for USB cables, or at least a less than ideal environment for USB cables, and they have been holding up really well. So yeah, I would say consider Anker. They have a ton of options out there.
Amazon Basics is pretty awesome too.
Yeah, like a 5-pack of 3 foot, 6 foot, 1 foot. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cables in various lengths for $13. Cool. And Shannon was starting to say Amazon Basics, a lot of people love them to death. Here's a thought. If you have a label maker, once again, sit everybody down, teach them the proper way to insert and remove cables and to not yank on them, and then put their name on a cable with your label and tell them that they have to buy the replacements if they break them, or they have to do some terrible chore around the house. Whatever chore you don't want to do. Like cleaning the chicken coop.
He has chickens. John writes, do you know anywhere where I can create a free website with a free domain with no ads? I need a website to put my artwork on for free. If not free, really cheap. Thanks, from John. So personally, I use Squarespace for my snubsy.com website. And also, I do want to mention, again, I'm having a meetup in Tokyo, Japan, and I have a little RSVP thing here, so you can RSVP. It's snubzy.com/blog. Go check it out if you live in Tokyo.
Or you're going to Tokyo.
So it does cost like cold hard cash
$8
to
a
use
month for a
something on
personal
Squarespace.
version.
Yeah, it's like $8 a month
Yeah.
for the cheapest one, but it makes it really, really easy. So that's what I use. WordPress has a free version, but not a free domain, and the free version has ads. So that's also one that you could consider if you feel like having an ad on your site, which you might not.
It's funny. I mean, if you want a website that has its own URL and you want no ads, you're pretty much going to pay money for the domain and the hosting. The personal version or the basic version of Squarespace is $8 a month. We use a business version for TekThing.com. It's $18 a month. Frankly, if you don't want to find and buy a domain, I'd suggest you use Facebook for displaying your art.
My friend does that.
I know a lot of businesses, a lot of businesses, they don't want the hassle of remembering to pay for the URL and dealing with a website, or worse yet, dealing with, I've known people who've we set up a business, it costs all this money, and then we had to do more things to do the things, and it was an incredibly frustrating experience, but I can stick something up on Facebook, and Facebook is a place to build community. You can, if you build a community around your product, your art on Facebook, you can then use it to launch a website if you choose to build one. That said, Wix.com is getting a lot of nods as currently being the easiest or best website builder. It's like $4 a month, and it's like, oh, I want to create a portfolio, and it's going to give you, hey, these are ideas. It's very similar to Squarespace, a little bit less expensive.
Cool.
Some people think the UI is a little bit better. Others that come to mind that I've heard good things about are Weebly, Duda1, that's D-U-D-A-1, and of course, as we mentioned, Squarespace, which we've both used a lot. I say give Wix a shot, let us know what you think, and if y'all have an idea for John, kick us an email, ask@tekthing.com.
And one more on the podcasting tools, and yes, I did verify he wanted a podcast listener, not a podcast making tool. We got an email from Hattie who writes, "Hey Patrick and Shannon, saw your March 30th episode where you mentioned podcast players, and Podkicker is my favorite. There's a free version and I use a pro version for $2.30. It has a podcast tab that shows all your podcasts sorted as you like, an episodes tab that shows you all the new episodes from all your podcasts, a downloads tab that shows your downloaded podcast, and a streams tab that lets you save episodes to listen to later without downloading.
Nice.
The best part is the search feature. It lets you do a manual search, iTunes search, or paste an RSS feed. It also has a feature to search your current subscribed podcasts and suggest similar podcasts. Thanks for all the tech tips and trips. Hattie from Houston, Texas."
Thanks,
That's
Hattie.
awesome. I love it.
Yeah. One more
Beautiful.
into the podcasting breach.
One more.
Once more into the breach, dear friends. And remember, once in a while, put down the phone, step away from the screen, close the laptop, and do something analog, like go to an auction. Just kidding. Like listen to an entire album in one sitting while not doing anything else. I understand you may have to use your phone to do that, you may have to use your laptop to do that, you have to use a CD player to do that, which are technically are not, technically are not analog. Well, you got a record player, that would be analog. If you have an LP, that would be unbelievably analog. But in any case, just if you haven't done it in a while, take an album from an artist you like, just listen to the entire thing in one sitting.
Yeah.
See if you can do it. Don't text during it, don't browse the web, don't watch a show, just listen to the music. Let us know what your analog pick is, and we'll feature it on the show. I'm Patrick Norton.
I'm Shannon Morse.
We'll see you next week on TekThing.
I have all the things.
In 3, 2. Thank you, Chewie. What if we can magnetize your phone?
No. Don't you touch my phone.
Magnetize the cat.
No. Oh, well, that might be kind of fun. But no, I would never do that. Meow.
You ever see somebody try to do the electric balloon trick with a cat? Because cats are sometimes like, if you rub a cat, you get static electricity. I watched a friend of mine went to pick up the cat, and he's like, "I would do the static electricity thing." I'm like, you are going to end up in the hospital. He's like,
yeah.
"Oh yeah, this thing has claws, right?" Oh yeah. This
My
thing
kitty has claws. She
Oh,
showed
the
me her
claws.
claws one day when she split my lip. It hurt really bad.
I can't remember. I think it's here. I was like 3 or 4.